Hey guys, Kelley here, obviously, and I'm here with the very first episode of Cozy, Spooky, Scary Readings. So, in honor of October being Halloween month, I thought I would release some spooky content for everyone to consume, and hopefully, you guys enjoy it. So, here's episode one. Am I the asshole for buying my tomboy daughter a girly birthday gift? I know how it sounds. Please hear me out before you pass judgment. I have one kid, 10, little girl who I love dearly, but she's not a very girly girl. She likes Legos, roughhousing, clothes from the boys section, stuff like that. So I figured I'd get her something different for her birthday to steer her in the right direction. I settled on a music box, pastel pink in color with a pretty ballerina inside that twirls to the music when you wind it up. I thought you she might be in I thought she might be inspired to wear jewelry if she had somewhere to put it. I wrapped it up in a box topped with a big bow. The works. My daughter cried a bit when she opened her present, which was to be expected. She was really hoping for some new games. But I knew this was the right choice for her. She begged me to return it, complaining of, and I quote, a horrible feeling, like my soul is being sucked out of me. Every time I twist the key to play the song, make the ballerina dance, fun girly stuff. I ignored her dramatics and played the tune for her each night. Eventually, she came to like it enough to stop hiding it from me. She even started sleeping with it right next to her bed. Though, of course, my little tomboy denied it. I was happy. She was happy. It was all good. Until my daughter started playing the damn thing over and over again just to make a point. Of course, she acted like she was innocent, insisting it wasn't her and that there was something wrong with the box. I know she's doing this in hopes that I'll exchange the box for something less girly, but I've told her time and time again that I do not negotiate with terrorists, so she isn't going to get her way by acting immature. I was set on ignoring her antics. But what's happened since then is the final straw. She won't stop playing the damn song. Now, I like a cute little melody as much as the next gal, but she's had it going 24/7 since yesterday. I took the key out of the back, thinking it'd fix it, but I'm certain she's rigged it because it won't stop. Last night, I woke up to the infernal song and found my daughter up way past her bedtime, dancing along to the song in the pink tutu I bought her years ago. She wouldn't even respond to her name, no matter how much I yelled. I know she's trying to give me what I want to the point that I realized that a girly daughter wouldn't even be her anymore. And truth be told, I get it now. She doesn't feel like my daughter anymore, and I miss her. But like I said, I refuse to respond to that type of behavior. Am I the asshole here? I should have read the reviews. My girlfriend moved out 3 weeks ago. My cat, Rook, was really close to her, and now that she's gone, I can tell he's a bit lonely, especially when I'm at work. I came home a few times to my curtains ripped up, my toilet paper in shreds. The last straw was when I came home after working late to find he had clawed a hole the size of a dinner plate into my sofa. I decided I had to do something. I tried different toys, catnip, nothing worked. One night, while browsing Amazon, I saw a pet camera. It's a tiny camera that records your pet on a live feed so you can monitor their behavior even when you're away. It has an audio function so you can even talk to them. Sounds silly, but I love my little guy, so I bought it. I got overnight shipping and installed it immediately. I decided to set it up in my bedroom because that's where he slept the most. My first day at work, I think I checked the camera 30 times. When I spoke into the microphone, Rook seemed happier, and I noticed there was no destruction around the house. By day 4, I figured I'd solved the problem with Rook. That leads me to right now. About 30 minutes ago, I climbed in bed with Rook, ready to close my eyes when my phone buzzed. A notification from the pet cam. I almost ignored it, sure that I'd triggered it in some way, but I opened it anyway. And what I saw made my grip tighten on the phone. Instead of a video of myself in bed, I saw a man, tall, gangly, with pale skin and large eyes. He was moving into my room with exaggerated steps, like a sneaking cartoon character. He got right up to the lens, so close I could smell his rotten breath, and he smiled. I immediately paused the video, terrified. I looked at the spot where the man should have been standing, but there was no one there. I went onto Amazon and found the pet cam and read the reviews, hoping there was some weird glitch, maybe a prank, right? The first dozen reviews were pretty standard, but it was the last one that caused me to bolt upright. The customer complained that the camera was on a time delay, sometimes as much as 15 minutes. I went back to the video and pressed play with shaky fingers. I watched in horror as the man slithered under my bed, giving the camera a wink before disappearing. Then I saw myself enter the room and climb in bed before the video ended. Now I'm sitting in my bed, knowing he's under it. I could call the police, but I doubt I'd have the time. So please, do yourselves a favor and read the reviews. 24 hours. Yesterday, Todd made it his mission to sleep with as many women as possible. He managed a whopping 37 in just 24 hours, an insurmountable amount for an average day. But this was not an average day. Who was going to say no to some sex? He didn't know he'd soon be a father to 6 illegitimate children, or he wouldn't have done it. Yesterday, Anne snapped and slit the throat of her toxic ex-husband. The neighbors walked by, saw the whole thing through the window, but simply looked at each other, shrugged, and kept walking. Anne continued her day as usual, leaving the still warm body on the floor. She didn't know she would be arrested for murder, or she wouldn't have done it. Yesterday, Lacey took her husband and kids on a drive on the winding roads next to the ocean. Her hands shook as she gripped the wheel while her kids sat oblivious in the back. She and her husband shared a meaningful look as she jerked the car to the right and into the crashing ocean waves. She didn't know she would be shunned while laying 6 feet under, or she wouldn't have done it. Yesterday, the news was announced that an unsurvivable asteroid was headed straight to Earth. Yesterday, the world erupted into unprecedented chaos as everyone had to decide what to do with their last 24 hours. But today, utter and complete pandemonium occurred because the asteroid missed. Porcelain. Growing up, I always knew my brother was different. I wasn't supposed to know, but I did. It wasn't so much a secret as it was a deep family shame. My parents refused to acknowledge it, and as a result, he never received the help he so desperately needed. But the full extent of his deviancy didn't become apparent until his early teens, a secret of which I've kept from everyone, even my brother. If he knew that I knew, I'm not sure what would happen. It was an accident. That's how it all began. A few days later, our neighbor, Miss Zielinski, reported her dog Maya missing. She was a precious Dalmatian puppy, little over a year old. They found pieces of her for days, hacked violently into fleshy bits. A heinous act of pure cruelty, they called it, and I immediately knew it was my brother. I suppose I still wanted to test the hypothesis, though. So a week later, I accidentally broke another figurine, this time depicting a plump little boy. I ignored my mom's scolding, keeping my gaze locked on my brother. He didn't move an inch, just stared at the headless figurine on the floor. My mom locked the study after that incident. A few days later, Billy O'Donnell disappeared. 10 years old, freckled, a bit on the heavy side. They found his body 5 days later. It took another 2 before they located his head. The expression frozen on his face was one of unimaginable pain and fear. I knew then for sure what my brother was, and I swore to myself to keep it a secret. To keep him safe, I would become the help he always needed. He'd happened upon broken remains of porcelain figurines all through his teenage years, a young beautiful woman, a dapper middle-aged man sporting a broad-brimmed hat, a frowny-faced old lady cradling a cat, a handsome fellow in a sparkling red jacket. Some turned up in tiny pieces, others were never found. He can never know that I know, though. Know that I'm the one who breaks them. Know that I deliberately leave them where he can find them. Know that I paint the figurines myself. One to resemble a slutty cashier that kept flirting with my husband. One to resemble my pervert of a boss. One to resemble the horrid old hag that let her cats piss on my property. The last one to resemble my cheating asshole of a husband. Don't worry, they won't be missed. They're all just broken porcelain figurines now. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the very first episode of cozy, spooky, scary story readings. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I actually really enjoy reading scary stories because I feel like my imagination is scarier than anything that can be put out onto the screen. I know some of these weren't super scary, but it was like a little bit of like psychological things going on. I thought it was fun. All right. If you enjoyed this video, please comment down below, like the video, and subscribe. And I will be putting out more very soon. Have a wonderful day. I love you.